Hello, I'm Dr. Malyska, Mary Lou Malyska, and I was the superintendent of schools from March 1st of 2006 until June 30th of 2012. It was an interesting process. I was very happy to be included in the interview process because that doesn't always happen. When you apply for a position, sometimes they read your resume and your skills don't match their needs. But I was very fortunate that my skills did match the needs, and the board invited me in for an interview with the board, and then with the parents, with the teachers, with the administrative team, and eventually everyone got a chance to fill out forms and give the board feedback, and I was able to secure the position. It was a wonderful feeling. Watchung was a district that I was very pleased to be asked to join because of the reputation of community support, parental support, and just a great academic success record. I have a lot of memorable experiences. I have to be honest. The first thing that we really did was set up an entire district-wide tech committee, and we set timelines, budget, and also goals. And we worked together, the board, the parents, the teachers, the administrators. We met regularly, and we all worked together to attain the benchmarks that we had set. And eventually we ended up with a brand new system throughout the school system where we could have connectivity among each other. We had the actual technology equipment that we needed. The teachers had the computers, the smart boards. We had connectivity between Valley View and Bayberry, and we also were able to all have an email address and work together as a team. That doesn't sound like much today in 2023, but back in 06, 07, 08, we were really proud of what we did. Some of the other things that I'm very proud of are the math curriculum that we expanded to include Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 for those students who in 7th grade qualified for it in 8th grade, and they went to the high school before the high school day started, and they took a class there in Algebra 2. We also expanded the foreign language curriculum to include German and French, and we also had a teacher coming in just to teach Mandarin. So we had 3 new languages in the curriculum when we decided what did we need to do to be a more well-rounded elementary school and middle school. And we did these things for that purpose. One of my funniest memories are when the PTO decided they would have a fair, outdoor fair at Valley View, and they had a dunk tank. And it was someone's great idea that the superintendent should sit in the dunk tank. And those guys in the 7th and 8th grade just had so much fun dunking me. It was a great day. We really were a success. We had a lot of fun. Everybody was laughing. Everybody thought it was great that the superintendent was soaking wet throughout the afternoon. And I enjoyed just making the kids laugh like that. We had some other situations like that too, where we just all really came together and had a lot of fun. One of the most difficult things was when the governor decided that the state needed money, and he overnight surprised all of the public school systems, and he literally took the money out of their emergency funds. We had, because of the taxes that we gathered and some of the projects that we were able to get some funding for from other grants and other funding sources, we had some money in a special account that every district is allowed to have. And what really was a challenge for us was realizing that he zeroed that account out, and he took that money to Trenton and used it to run the state government. And we were left without a significant amount of money with which we would have repaired the roof or repaired some problems with air conditioning or with something having to do with the need to purchase more special ed equipment. We just wouldn't have the money available. So what eventually happened was we worked hard to get grants and to bring more monies into the district that way, but we never regained the money that the state took from us. That was a difficult time. I thought about the fact that through the state program or the county program, we were able to get solar panels at Bayberry and Valley View. And that was a big contribution at that time. Now it seems like everyone has solar panels everywhere, but it was unique. And it was a program for schools that we could get some solar panels without paying for them. And we were able to bring down our electrical costs. And that was an important step for us. We joined with Verizon on a project whereby underground cables were installed by them so that we were able to access greater connectivity and higher levels of Wi-Fi. A lot of things that went on were the beginnings of things. And we were right there in the forefront. I'm proud of that. The technology, forward movement in technology was huge. The teachers were very cooperative and very hungry for training. They got smart boards and learned how to use them. And it changed the way the children learned. There was a lot going on with the beginnings of the use of the internet. And I think it gave the children a much broader and deeper knowledge base with which they went into the high school. They were ready to do research, and they were ready to apply the skills that they had learned with us and move forward towards college. It was a very important time in education for schools to be able to do that sort of thing. I learned a lot while I was here. I enjoyed very much working with the Board of Ed and the local government. I learned that Watchung, which was a place I had never really had the opportunity to work in or socialize in, it's a lovely and a warm, supportive town. Everybody was open to new ideas, and I learned to be open to new ideas, which was another wonderful part of being here. We did so many things together, and we were small. We used to jokingly say small but mighty, and we were small but mighty. I took that with me as I moved into retirement, because I retired from Watchung. It was the height of my career. And I am now in a writer's workshop. I was the chair of the literature department at the Women's Club where I live, bringing in authors. I've learned how to write, and I've learned how to work very hard to accomplish great things when you don't have any money. And the Women's Club just has to raise the money in order to make things happen. We support children's services, we support food programs, We support clothing programs, and the way to do it is to put your heads together and put your backs into projects, and that's what we do. So I think I learned a lot of that when I was here from the PTO and the teachers and the community, just hard workers. I think that the best advice I would give would be to, I know this is a cliche, but it's true, be the change that you want to see. Take the risks, put the work in, and give it your best in order to make the world a better place. That's how things get done. If you get an idea and you think it might work, start working on it. Work with your friends, work with your community, your parents, and try to make it happen, because the world needs a lot of help. And that's what I've been doing since I left working, so-called working. I'm still working, but this is a different type of work, and it's a very important work. Making the world a better place for people who need help is a very rewarding thing to do for them and for me, I'm sorry to say, but it's true. And don't be afraid to take a risk if it's something that you think will make the world a better place. That would be my advice. I keep talking about what we did, but it's important to say that nobody did this without being willing to put in extra time. The teachers, the administrators, the business office, we all worked extra time, overtime, thinking at night, on the phone at night, working together to try to accomplish things. The students were fantastic. I don't know if anyone has mentioned that at one point they raised enough funds at Valley View by walking around the lake. They raised enough funds to build a kindergarten for the children in Phuket, Thailand, where they had been completely ruined by a tsunami that rolled through and took the buildings away. I mean, these children in Watchung, in a small school, relatively speaking, were able to raise enough money, $10,000, to build a kindergarten with 2 classrooms in it. And we have photos of it, and we know that it made a difference for children. And that's the type of thing that I think about when I think of Watchung, small but mighty, getting things done, and working together. I think the greatest accomplishment was narratives of courage. I think that the children themselves were completely shocked on that day, every 2 years. It was a full day of guest speakers coming into the schools and giving the children their experience of courage, fortitude, hope, having lived through the Holocaust, having lived through 9/11, having survived the black-white issue in the South. We had speakers who survived all these things, and we had speakers who were handicapped and who made a great success of their lives in spite of the handicaps that they had. When they moved through the school and they had 2 opportunities, because it was every other year, their reactions never ceased to amaze me. And I'm really proud of that they heard the oral story of the reality of that person's existence and the challenge they faced, whatever it was. And they were shocked. And they learned. And that's when I think they started to learn what they could do if they worked hard together to make a difference. That was the best. It really was an effort to have the children understand that when you face difficult challenges in life, believe in yourself, find ways to succeed, and you will succeed.